Good morning. It's another fine day here in Hillsboro. As I look out my back window, it's just almost like the Garden of Eden. Everything is green, everything's in full bloom, and the corn is just magnificent, just acre after acre of the corn as I look at it. So we're ready to start this day, and we're ready to give God all that we have to give him. And this morning, I want to read to you out of the 7th chapter of Romans, and I want to start at the 7th verse. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Certainly not. Indeed, I would not have known what sin was except through the law. For I would not have known what coveting really was if the law had not said, do not covet. But sin, seizing the opportunity afforded by the commandment, produced in me every kind of covetous desire. For apart from law, sin is dead. Once I was alive apart from law. But when the commandment came, sin sprang to life and I died. I found that the very commandment that was intended to bring life actually brought death. For sin, seizing the opportunity afforded me by the commandment, deceived me, and through the commandment put me to death. So then the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, righteous, and good. But that which is good then became death to me. By no means, but in order that sin might be recognized as sin, it produced death in me through what was good, so that through the commandment sin might become utterly sin. The whole purpose of the law, as God gave it, was for us to recognize sin. And that sin is utterly sin. Sin is really bad. Sin can produce death in us. Sin can keep us from a loving relationship with God. And so God gave the law so that the people would have a choice. They would know what was sin now, and they had a choice to choose between sin and to choose between doing what was right. And the thing about sin is that Paul says here is that sin deceives. Sin deceives. Satan at one time was an angel of light. And Satan doesn't come and tempt us to do awful, horrible, ugly-looking wrong things. But he'll deceive us until the ugliness is revealed when it's too late, and then we're stuck. Satan does not tempt people with alcoholism. He tempts them with a beautiful thing. He tempts you with thinking that alcohol can help solve the problem. And I'm not saying that alcohol in and of itself is wrong, but there are so many people who get hooked on alcohol now. Drug is the same way. The first time you take a drug, it gives you an euphoric high. Makes you feel good. And so you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and then all of a sudden, you can't live without it. I had a young man tell me one time, he said, I just had so low self-esteem. And he said, the first time I did drugs, He said, man, I felt like I was bulletproof. I felt like I could conquer the world. And he said, and that's the feeling I wanted. So I kept taking them. And I says, and what about now? He says, well, now I'm hooked on them. I can't live without it. It's not just that I have low self-esteem. He said, but without it, I hurt. He says, without it, I feel so low, I just don't think I can get up. So you see, the drug deceived him. The law is there to give us a choice. What will it be? Will we choose God and his righteousness? Or will we choose to follow our own desires and our own wants? And then before we know it, we're trapped. We all struggle with sin, each and every one of us. And it's different sins for different people. But Paul tells us that we need to choose that which is good. So then the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, righteous, and good. Choose good this day. Amen.